Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. So alright, for this video, I'll be talking about a western film. It's a blast from the past. Yes, obviously, it's gonna be low budget, as usual, since that's mostly what I review when it comes to films anyway, regardless of genre. It's pretty obscured, and it's a blast from the past, something from way long ago. It's quite a while ago. So alright then. The film I'll be talking about is this one here, folks. Terror of the Plains. Oh, definitely. Anyway, of course, as usual, let's talk about the plot, shall we? Because things get pretty rowdy, so to speak. So there you go. Oh yeah. Anywho, so what's going on here is that yes, of course, there's a bit of drama. I guess a man has been framed. Of course, the man who framed Tom's father for murder is a so there's something in regards of going on a ghost town where no one is allowed to or in or out. Of course, Tom gets in by posing as a escaping outlaw with his sidekick posing as a sheriff that is chasing him. Tom learns that there's this boss character is the man he is after, but there is trouble because of course. So there's a character who later gets caught, but let's just say that there's still a bit of thing going on. This whole plan killing this character if he doesn't tell who um who the other individual is. So there's like a bit of drama thrown in here again, where things are not easy. Of course, yeah, of course, doing some drama there because might as well, I guess. Whatever, why not? So anyway, so there's this quite a bit of stuff going on here when it comes to this film because you might as well. You gotta make it interesting in some kind of way. So, yes, obviously, this doesn't really surprise me. They want to go on that route, of course. You had to make it crazy in some ways. Anyway, at the end of the day, I did think the fight scenes were pretty decent, of course, in a way. And considering the fact that there's not a whole lot of money when it comes to this production, quite obviously, like I was saying earlier. And yeah, and this film definitely does the whole bit with the how the heroes must consider a way to find the villain and defeat the villain. But again, it's not gonna be quite easy as you might expect. Of course not. Of course not. Anyway, yeah, those are bad guy characters. Or in here, of course, there's a bad guy character, of course. There has to be doing that. There has to be some villain type of story where they're up to no good. Well, I mean, you have to have some kind of conflict to begin with when it comes to these types of movies. That's how it is. It's personally speaking, I don't mind really because you have to make it some sense of trouble. Trouble is afoot, and it must be dealt with. And yes, this is a fight between good guys and bad guys, which yes is a type of story that's been plagued with these types of old Western films. It was definitely a type of a movie that was made a bunch of times way back when. So yeah, it's nice, definitely expected here when you think about it. And it doesn't surprise me really that this movie would go on that route when you think about it. But for what it's worth, I didn't think it bored me. No, it didn't bore me whatsoever really. I do miss these kinds of movies. Of course, there's a pretty good cast though. The cast of actors and actresses are actually pretty good here. So yes, obviously there was the production flaws, but it didn't prevent me from enjoying a pretty good low budget film, of course. But again, you do have to keep in mind, yeah, of course, the way it was put together is not exactly super fancy, but you have to keep in mind that this was made in a different era of Hollywood. You can call it that, I guess. Sure. But anyway, nevertheless, I didn't think that it was terrible by any means because I like the characters, the cast. The acting is actually quite good in this one from the actors and actresses, as I was saying earlier, because they actually put in effort. These types of characters, I should. But yes, that's definitely is the case here when it comes to this. considering the fact that they're just trying to portray these types of characters in such a way, and you have to put in the convincing matter, and that's pretty much what they did here. They pretty much did it in a really convincing matter, and when again the best they could. Anyway, and the best they could to begin with. So obviously there was that. Oh yeah. But anyway, I didn't mind it really. What they were trying to do, yeah, I didn't mind it at the end of the day because they're trying to tell the story in this kind of manner with what letter they have anyway. What letter they have to begin with. Think about it. So there was that. Anyway, I would definitely recommend this for anyone that doesn't mind this kind of stuff. If this is something that you would typically watch anyway, then I would suggest it if you don't mind this whole Western thing, of course. But ultimately, yes, I thought this has its moments throughout the entire story. I did think that this was nicely done, quite honestly. I like what they were trying to do with the characters. As I was saying earlier, I like the location. The location scenes were nicely done. It really give you a sense of what this period was trying to do. This sense of place. You gotta have a nice location, of course, in the grand scheme. You gotta have a nice location because you have to give an overall feel of what's going on in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, in the wide, wide west, where things go really crazy, where things go really wild, as you might expect, quite obviously. But ultimately, I can say that this is definitely one of these movies where it's a period piece, as a lot of these movies tend to do. When I think about it, it's definitely one of those kinds of stuff. I mean, I don't mind it really, because I've seen so many of these types of movies that did just that, trying to take place in a certain time and period in the grand scheme of things, and that's what this is trying to do. Give a sense of what they're trying to do with the location, of course, and the way the scenery is done here is not just done, of course. Again, yes, it's not exactly super fancy with the way it's done, but again, there's not a whole lot of money they could have done anyway to begin with. So they could only do so much with what they had here, quite clearly. Anywho, ultimately, I can definitely say that I will recommend this for people who enjoy this genre. Yes, I know there's plenty of other people who might give this movie a chance, but it's not that often, really. Which is some is kind of sad because some of these movies are just quite nice, actually. But anyway, ultimately, I didn't mind it really. But that's just me, though. I know people usually in this day and age they don't want to watch these types of movies because, well, it's old for one, and they were just trying to dismiss it just because of that. Unfortunately, which is kind of sad because, again, like I was saying, some of these are actually quite nice, actually. And this definitely is one of these types of movies I would recommend because it has a pretty solid story throughout the entire thing, of course. And yes, of course, there's been guns, of course, cowboys, and all that jazz, as you may expect when it comes to this. And yes, obviously, usually women would be involved in these stories some kind of way, which is fine, I suppose. So there's that. Anyway, I mean, yes, you're gonna have women in these movies, and they tend to be they're really intentionally trying to look women who look attractive, of course. Anyway, that in itself does not have to be a bad thing, of course. Anyway, I'll give this film an overall rating of a 6.9 out of 10. It's a 6.9 out of 10 for me. A pretty solid feature. As always, thanks for watching and take care. Until next time. See ya. Oh yeah. Later.